What's going on, guys? It's Ricky, and I was just going to get ready to talk about, hey, Meta and Microsoft report earnings tomorrow. We have the FOMC rate decision. Markets had an amazing recovery into the close, and then all of a sudden, as I was preparing to film this video, markets began to free fall. NASDAQ began to aggressively break its support from its ascending uptrend pattern to then lower highs and lower lows. In just the past 30 to 40 minutes, NASDAQ has gone from highs of nearly 678 to lows of 671, losing 1%. SanDisk, who was slightly in the green, not even slightly, it was up 3% during the aftermarket session. From 1,139 hitting lows of 1,023, lost 10% in 30 minutes. Significant sell-off, significant drawdown. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I was keeping my LPP team up to date. Everyone's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Check it out. Micron, from overall highs of, I don't even want to go to the 839. It was trading right around 833, then hit lows of 770. This one was also up about 1.5% after market hours, ended up losing 7.5% in a matter of minutes. Volatility is incredibly high. And again, I wish that I can tell you that, yeah, buying the dip and then staying calm and just, having all the confidence in the world is super easy. It's not, but this is why we're talking about don't use leverage and put yourself in a position in which you can tolerate the time that the markets might take for it to recover. When I began diving a little bit deeper into, there's no update. There's no attack that's being announced, at least not yet. But based off of what I can see, if you click on the oil, my oil watch list, you can see United States Oil Fund skyrocketing, up 5.37%. WTI up 1.89%. We can click on the inverse of oil. SCO currently down 6.3%. Oil U up 4%. So what does this tell us? When does oil go up and overall markets go down? What does this tell us? What would you guys say? Oh, there must be some form of escalation in the Middle East that Trump has not let us know about yet, right? This is not good. And just a day before big tech reports earnings, right? This is what I was going to try to film a video about. But again, I just wanted to inform you on what I know so far. As soon as I learn more, if you're part of my LPP team, I'll make sure that I do my part in keeping you guys up to date via trade ideas and the announcement. If you guys are not part of our LPP team yet, again, another reason to check it out. It's the second link in the description down below. I want to remind you, as markets are down, so are our prices. And as soon as markets begin to tick back up, we will go back to being at full price. So again, if you want to join daily live sessions, private group chat, and of course, the A to Z video lesson library, it's all on sale right now, $2.99 off. Second link down below if you want to join. The thing that I want to talk about is Meta. Meta is in a very critical position right now. Everything that could go wrong with Meta is going wrong at once. The stock has fallen 8 straight days in a row. It's its longest losing streak ever. Everything landed today, right? Earnings are landing as in tomorrow, right? With the first negative free cash flow print expected. This is big. This is similar to what we saw with Google. Although they reported great earnings, it was the first time in its history that they reported negative free cash flow. And when that is reported, that's not attractive, right? They could be overspending. They disclosed this on their last guidance. AI CapEx is running at $145 billion a year, and nobody outside of the HQ can explain the strategy. Meanwhile, a lawsuit is seeking $1.4 trillion, nearly its entire market cap, goes to trial next month. One earnings call to answer for all of it. Again, Meta has not seen a double-digit red streak in daily candles in over the past 5 years. We are on day 9, right? The part that I find to be pretty funny is I was actually getting ready to share this news that I saw being shared everywhere of mediators say that we are close to breakthrough on reviving the US and Iran MOU peace agreement. But then why would oil, futures be going up when oil stocks be going up and overall markets be going down if this was the case? The only time markets begin to drop and oil begins to rise is if there's escalations, if there's further attacks, and if the peace deal is no longer on the table. With that being said, obviously, Michael Burry has done incredibly well. I want to remind you, you are not him. I am not him. We cannot tolerate the pain that he might be able to tolerate, right? Understand that there's been already a significant drawdown already in most of these chip stocks. I'm not saying that it can't go lower. As we can see firsthand, they definitely can, right? We saw Micron aggressively sell off. All I'm saying is that they're oversold enough that you would want to maybe proceed with caution. Markets tend to be more bullish than bearish. This isn't to convince you to just buy the dip on any company, but this is to make you aware of, hey, the last thing that you want is at oversold levels for you to take a short on one of the best performing stocks or sectors of 2026 just for it to turn against you and you miss one of the biggest bull runs. Like, just anything that could go bad, just think about shorting at oversold levels and then market turns against you. Ultimately, there's nothing wrong with, day by day, opening up a short, closing it by the end of the day. A lot of our LPP traders are doing that. There is a big difference of carrying your short overnight, knowing that, yes, markets have been in this bearish downturn. And I love that. We've been waiting for this. You guys know that I've been waiting for markets to pull back. But there comes a point where you want to begin to proceed with caution, just because markets are irrational, and just as quickly as they've sold off, they can quickly begin to recover. It wouldn't take much. Now, again, this isn't to convince you to buy the dip, because I do believe there could be more drawdowns, right? With all the uncertainty that we're seeing in the South Korean market with over-leveraged traders in the chip space, SanDisk losing over 50% of its value in, the past few weeks, it does inject a lot of uncertainty. It is injecting more fear, right? And what Citadel Securities shared. Tomorrow we have the FOMC rate decision. And as many of you guys know, there's a 70% chance for a pause and a 30% chance for a possible rate hike. If the Federal Reserve announces a rate hike, that could draw markets down lower. Now, the thing that I quickly wanted to show you is, again, tomorrow is Meta, right? Meta and Microsoft is set to report earnings. We showed you guys that, right? Microsoft, Meta, and Robinhood. The thing that I quickly want to show you is that Meta does an incredible job reporting earnings. That's not the problem. Even after beating earnings last time, there was still an 8% drawdown. If the concern is that they're overinvesting and they go negative in their free cash flow, this is the pickle that they're in. Their value based off of fundamentals is low, right? Their P ratio is incredibly low. But if you take their price to their negative cash flow, if that's what they end up actually reporting tomorrow, then it ends up being hard to price or to value, because again, are we going to see a return in this possible overspending? That's the bet that Meta is currently placing on AI, and we're going to learn more about this not just with Meta, but also Microsoft. I want to remind you, Microsoft also reported earnings last time. They killed it. They still sold off. Again, this isn't to scare you. How do I say this? I think the only people that should be shorting the market right now are those that have experience and know how to properly manage and mitigate risk. I don't think beginners should be doing it any longer, because again, it's oversold enough that direction can quickly begin to turn against you. That being said, doesn't mean that you should blindly buy the dip, as markets can get worse before they get better. This is where you want to be very mindful of your position size and keeping it tasteful, knowing that there could be further drawdowns, but again, you're in it for the long haul, right? At least that's the intention. I'm very excited to keep you guys up to date. We have a really big day tomorrow, and tomorrow should be very telling. FOMC rate decision, Microsoft earnings, Meta earnings. I do plan to live stream all of it. All I literally ask you to do is subscribe to the channel and drop a thumbs up. If you want to work with us closer and you want to watch me trade live daily, as soon as the markets open tomorrow, like I said, we're running a sale. You don't have to join, right? I have over 5,000 free videos on YouTube. You can learn from anyone it is that you want to. But if you want to watch me trade live, I do it daily for 1 hour with our group, and it's only my LPP team. One-time payment, lifetime access. We have members that signed up back in 2018. They still get access to it today. They only paid once. So again, while markets are down, so are our prices. As soon as they begin to pick back up, we'll go back to full price. So if you want to save $299, again, second link down below, you can join LPP. And even before you join, right? Don't just jump into it. Watch one of our previous recent live sessions. see what it's like. And if you like it, then again, you know exactly what to expect. We host them daily. When markets are open, we're live. And again, I hope to see you there. I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. Very excited to do my part in keeping you guys up to date. But again, I would say being over aggressive is worse than not having any money. Having some money is better than not having any at all. Do your part in being well positioned and light enough that you can tolerate the time that this downturn might take. That's all we can continue to reiterate. It's so important that you don't over leverage yourself in the very beginning, where you end up later regretting because now then you cut losses, you're forced to sell because maybe you use leverage, and then you're never able to actually see the markets recover and benefit from it. We've given the example before. Buying one share is better than buying too much, just to gain exposure and to see how markets react, right? You have some skin in the game and you don't have to overcomplicate it. That's the beautiful part about investing in the market, is that you get to decide how you choose to approach it. Appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.